Whenever a new discovery is made, it's the job of archaeologists to identify and authenticate the items. This can be a more complex process than you might imagine. And Professor Yuval Goren at the Ben-Gurion University is an expert in it.
Shalom, Yuval.
Shalom, Mati. Welcome to the Ben-Gurion University of the Negev.
Thank you. So, Yuval, let's start all the way from the beginning. Maybe you can start by explaining who you are and what you do.
I'm a professor of archaeology. I always compare what we do to the forensic squad of the police. Like them, we arrive in a crime scene. For us, it's called a site. We collect evidence, and we need to explain what actually happened there.
So you work not in just general archaeology. What you do is help add data, help add a timeline, help add information to the artifacts found in the ground.
Yes.
Remember the bula, the ancient impression of a seal that we saw earlier? Once a bula is identified and authenticated by someone like Yuval, it can provide direct physical evidence for the people and stories we read about in the Bible.
How long does it take between the time where you get a sample until the time you can actually give some kind of conclusion on what you found?
Even within
on the spot.
a few minutes, we can do the interpretation. Sometimes it takes days.
Bulas are incredibly important archaeological discoveries, and we find them all over Israel, sometimes in very unexpected places.
Now we'll go to the lab.
This is where the real work happens, huh?
Yes, part of it. There used to be a Bedouin market in Beersheba. They sold all kinds of clothing and all that. An emeritus professor of this university walked one day in the Bedouin market, and a dealer there showed him this bula, and he bought it for 10 old shekels. He thought that because of the price, it must have been a replica. Until he showed it to another emeritus professor of this university, who thought it might have been authentic. And he advised him to give it to me for examination. Let me show you what it looks like under the microscope. If it had been found in proper excavations, it would have been found in the right layer, which gives you the time, and in the right locality, which gives you the space. Because it was detached from both of these, we need to examine both time and space on this item. It's probably the oldest epigraphic bula that was found in this part of the world. You can identify the type of clay, the composition of the clay on which the seal was signed. And this can tell us that we have a seal coming from Tel Megiddo, and we have the name of a king who is the king of the Kingdom of Israel.
You say that in passing as if it's an obvious thing.
Yes.
But in that one sentence, you add in so many layers of information. It has writing. The writing fits the time. It has a name. The name fits the time. It has a picture. The picture fits the time. Now the mineral content. The clay looks like a clay from this place. It becomes almost impossible to completely discredit it because there's so much surrounding evidence to the artifact.
Yes.
It helps put everything in place geographically, the Northern Kingdom, Israel, the time, the name of the king, the name of the people in that administration.
Yes.
I think what's unique about this story is that it exemplifies how sometimes these findings are found in a very roundabout way.
So, as usual in archaeology, sometimes the story of the discovery is not less interesting than the artifact itself. This is what making our profession so fascinating.
You do is incredibly important for anyone who reads the Bible. The way that you're able to add deeper understanding and interpretation can completely negate or affirm historical theory. It carries a huge amount of significance. And I think that's why it's fascinating, is because it just becomes deeper and stronger the more you go in.
Thank you for joining us as we provide a spiritual insight of what God is doing in Israel and in the Middle East. If you want to learn more about what God is doing in Israel, make sure to visit us on our webpage and follow us on social media. Shalom, and God bless you from Jerusalem.